Hey guys, it's lovely to be here with you. Um, I have this really big energy blockage in my heart space. I'm still at home visiting family, so, there tends to be this occurrence where the longer I stay visiting family, the more stuff that will come up in my heart space. And it can get to be a lot at times. Um, this is where a lot of these wounds really originated in the, what is it called? Is it called the nuclear family unit, or like just the original tribe, whatever. And so whenever, and it's interesting because I feel drawn to come back here quite a bit to visit, because this is a place that really allows me to discover deeper parts of myself. There's nothing like being at home where a lot of the original wounding happened, around those people, that can really bring up the deep, deep stuff to be seen. And I'm also drawn to come back here because now it's a safer place. There's a lot more awareness and a lot more, consciousness in the tribe now. So yeah, so it's an interesting kind of experience that I have when I come home. It's just like, wow, a lot of the younger parts of me are triggered up to the surface, and they're just like rooted in fear and unworthiness and rage and grief and all the unconscious energies that we get with generational trauma. But then it's like that's happening, but then there's also, it's like, oh, it's home. It kind of feels safe. It can be a good place to rest on my journey, because my journey's, I have like this adventure and traveler's heart, so I tend to just go all over the place, and that's one of the ways I really burn through karma. And so yeah, I'm just at this point now where typically when my heart gets as blocked as it is now and congested with pain as it is now when I've been visiting home, like it will be typically the time that I leave and go off on my next adventure or go try to find a home somewhere. And that I could feel that might happen. I'm just trying to listen to the truth, and I'm just trying to stay in my power and act from there, and kind of make decisions from a more responsive type of energy rather than reactive. Because, these type of sensations that are in my heart right now, they're the type of sensations that will usually disconnect me from my power and have me go into addiction and have me reach out from a place of lack and scarcity, whether that's for, there's innumerable examples of what we reach for when we're in lack and scarcity, right? When we feel like there's a feeling within us that's so separate from love that it needs something outside of us to come back into oneness with love. And there's healthy ways to reach out, and healthy ways are not reaching out from lack and scarcity. Healthy ways of reaching out come from staying in our power. So like, I'm having sessions obviously with a really awesome healer. I go to online meditation retreats. I have dyads with other people. So reaching out in and of itself and helping these parts of us that feel so separate from love, that are so traumatized and so, in separation, reaching out in and of itself to really support these parts is not, what I'm talking about when I'm saying disconnecting from power. It's just like, where are we reaching out from? A lot of times we might reach out to an old habit that no longer serves us, or maybe an ex-lover that we know we've outgrown, or we just reach out for that old pattern that is rooted, that like helps us escape Mostly when we're reaching out from a place of lack and scarcity, we're trying to escape what's in the body. But when we're reaching out from an empowered place, we're actually trying to meet what's in the body more fully. We're actually trying to face our trauma and our suppressed pain. And that's why reaching out from an empowered place can be so vulnerable and so scary, and why a lot of people are really scared of therapy. I didn't realize actually how scary therapy was, or getting one-on-one relational support from a healer or a spiritual guide or coach or teacher. I kind of forgot how scary that can be until I was watching this show called Ted Lasso with my parents. It's a show we all really talk about, familial healing. Hope I said that word right. We've been watching the show Ted Lasso, and it's just like a really beautiful show. And, one of the main guy on the show, Jason Sudeikis, he plays the coach, and they bring this team therapist in because he's the head coach of this soccer team. I don't want to get too lost in the story, but his fear was palpable about like asking for help from this therapist, because he knew he was going to have to face a bunch of stuff that he had kept buried in his body, suppressed in his being. And I forget, like, for a lot of us and a lot of you guys who have never had therapy before, who have never reached out to a healer or a teacher or just someone in general to hold space for you, a psychologist, how scary that can be. And so when we are reaching out for help, and a lot of people can get it mixed up and think that reaching out for therapy, through a therapist, is like a sign of weakness or something. Actually, it's a huge sign of strength and power to reach out in that way. And I felt more sturdy in my being, even recently, just committing to once a week. I used to just wait until it was kind of an emergency to reach out to a therapist or to a healer. I would never really reach out to therapists, actually. For me, it's always been spiritual healers. That's been what's resonated with my heart. But just whatever type of relational support resonates for you is perfect. So yeah, I used to reach out until it was a real, 911 situation internally. And then I would be like so desperate, I would have to like ask for help. But for now, and as you can tell, when my heart's more closed and congested, it's like I don't flow as much. It's harder to speak. So much of my intelligence and how I function is from the heart center. If my center is open, it's like I have access to many dimensions. Words just flow. I can be very eloquent and succinct, and just, it's less with my mind now. There's not as much thinking. It's just I flow from the heart. And so it's interesting how that kind of, that shift happens. It's like the head drops into the heart, essentially, and we are our heart. But yeah, now staying in my power more, one of the things that's reflecting that to me is how I've committed to once a week. And I realize, like, now that I have sessions once a week with my healer, things don't get to that point of like, oh my God, I'm having an emergency. I have to, talk to someone in this moment. I'm freaking out. I need desperate help. But that's just something we learn over time. It's just like a vulnerability that starts taking hold, where we realize it's like a humility. Like, yeah, I need help. Like, we all need help. We all need each other, That's a nice breath. I haven't had that much prana flow through in a while. Okay, I wanted to talk about, being at home, something that, the sleepy dog next to me, something that has really come up for me are these deep wounds rooted in insecurity, unworthiness, fear. And I've had like this swirl at times come up of like self-doubt and confusion. And it happened recently when I posted this video about my channel's direction and trying to listen to my heart's guidance and surrendering things. And in the video, I think I was talking about how, I was saying how the Patreon doesn't align with me anymore, and it's something I need to let go of, and I need to focus more on these other ways to create income with this work, that's not just one-on-one coaching, because I guess I don't know if it's an egoic, I'm learning to discern if it's like an egoic desire or like a true heart desire to create a stream of income that's just from my content, right? And that's something I'm trying to just feel into and peel back the layers and learn more and more. Like, I'm with you guys. I'm learning every day. I'm getting more information about my path and who I am in every single moment. And so one thing I want to say is allowing yourself to have flexibility, to not get too definitive when you have breakthroughs. It's like, yeah, that's an awesome breakthrough, but just give yourself time, give yourself grace. And, because things are changing. I mean, on Earth right now, things are moving so fast. It was just 11/11 as I was saying that. And that just kind of reaffirms, like, yeah, this is stuff we all need to hear. I need to hear. It's like, we're all changing so fast. Things are moving so quickly right now. Evolution is just like bang, 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 bang. We're moving through stuff, we can all feel it. And that's why we can get into swirls of confusion and self-doubt and like, but this was true yesterday and now everything's shape-shifting. It's like, guys, things can move like that. So the first thing is try not to get too attached to what you think you know today. And the second thing is, when you do get in that swirl of confusion and anxiety and self-doubt, forgive yourself immediately. Immediate forgiveness, softness, tenderness. Like, I posted a video. This is what I went through when I was deep in it. I posted a video about this breakthrough, but then I was shaky about the video. I was unsure. I felt a bit ungrounded, to be honest. And so then I deleted the video. And then I was like, but I really kind of liked the video. There was so much light in it. So then I gave it a new title and I re-uploaded it. And then like an hour or 2 or 4 hours later, I don't know, I deleted it again, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I had to see like, wow, you're really in a swirl of self-doubt and confusion right now. And in the past, I would have been all hard on myself. Like, what are you doing? That's so humiliating. How could you, like, kind of just that inner critic voice would have taken hold and kind of run the show for a while. But I noticed myself just kind of like have this awe towards myself. Like, oh, this, something's trying really hard. And he's just so confused. And just like having, gentleness for myself and compassion because of noticing like, wow, so much is coming up. You're at home, you're having breakthroughs, but you're also getting a bit ungrounded, and there's so much light coming through, but it's also triggering up all this fear and unworthiness and self-doubt, and just recognizing like, oh, I'm just trying the best I can, and yeah. So one of the things I learned through that whole thing was like, sometimes we just don't know, and we can have breakthroughs and realizations, and that can feel really good. But let those realizations and breakthroughs kind of integrate and ground into your being the best you can. And like, also, guys, it's just trial and error. Like, we're all just out here doing our best and like really giving yourself this really soft, bed of forgiveness that you can always just kind of surrender into no matter what's happening it's going to be very helpful for you, because the way things are set up right now energetically, it's designed for us to go through a bunch of, unconscious energies, and they're going to play themselves out karmically, and we're going to feel something is true one day, and then we're going to have a completely different idea of what's true the next, and we're gonna make mistakes or say things that the next day we're like, wait, do I believe that actually? Like, that's the way things are designed right now. That's how things are moving. So the more you can just watch it from an impersonal vantage point and witness it with just loving compassion, like really loving your human and having compassion for your human, the easier this journey is going to be, because the divine is just unraveling a bunch of stuff right now. It's so much stuff is just coming up to the surface, and we're just kind of in an energetic storm at times. And And these storm, and one thing I noticed is all this self-doubt and fear that came up, it really disconnected me from my power. And one of the symptoms of being disconnected from my power is that self-doubt that comes up, like posting a video and then deleting it right away. That's not something I do when I'm connected to my power. And so right now, and it's by design, like the universe is going to show you where you're not totally embodied in love. The universe is going to kind of poke at you and kind of, not in a mean way, but just for you, just to show you like, hey, here's a part that, really needs to be, shored up, so to speak. And so that's what the divine was doing to me. It was showing me all these parts of myself that are still separate from trust, that are still in separation from love, that are still kind of rooted in unworthiness and lack and fear and self-doubt. And so it was actually a gift, that whole process of like posting a video and then feeling all the doubt come up and not being able to be with it and resisting it. And like, it showed me where I'm not trusting this process, where I'm not trusting the divine. And now those spots have been seen. Those aspects of myself have been seen by me, by the light, by the Divine Mother. And they weren't ridiculed, and I didn't tell those parts that, posted a video and deleted it. I didn't tell them how bad they were or how they shouldn't have done that or how wrong they were. I just said, oh, I just like met them with love and compassion. It's like, I know you're trying your best, sweetheart. It's totally okay for you to post a video and then delete it. It's totally cool. Like just giving them that kind of energy. And that's what these parts need. And that's what I'm saying, giving these parts a soft bed of forgiveness, love, and compassion to kind of surrender into. Because we're all going to get shaky in certain areas right now. We're all going to feel not centered at times. But I can tell you this, through going through that, whatever it was 2 or 3 days ago, I feel more rooted in my power now than ever. I feel this sense of a deeper sense of trust than I did before all that stuff happened, and I felt, this deeper opening to something higher. I felt like, okay, Divine Mother, yes, my egoic nature is so confused right now. So I need you to lead the way, Divine Mother. I surrender myself to you and your guidance. And it's like, that's what is called for sometimes or a lot of times, is just letting something greater come in and walk this path for us. And that's another way I've been experiencing a lot more clarity as well. It's just like surrendering the egoic confusion to something greater. So anyways, I hope this video helps you. It felt good to share. Sending you all so much love for your journey. Thank you for being here. And the Patreon page, if you want to support this work, there's a lot of content there. I'll leave a link if you'd like to send me a love donation. I may be going on a pilgrimage soon. Like I said at the beginning of the video, that might be happening, and that's also a really good way to support me. But other than that, just sending you all so much love, and it's just an honor to be here with you, and I will see you in the next video. Namaste.